Hello, and welcome back to BandChat, the podcast about being an independent band and everything that comes with it. I'm Austin, I'm today's host, and with me, I have Miles.
Hello.
I have Brayson.
Hey.
I have Mike.
Hello.
And with us, we have a special guest today. Everyone say hello to our dear friend Chersea.
Hello to our dear friend
Hi,
Chersea.
Chersea.
Hello to our dear friend Chersea.
So nice to have you on. By the way, Brayson, I just realized you went like this and didn't say hello. You realize this is a podcast, right?
I said hey.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Oh, we didn't hear that.
Oh, that's a Zoom thing.
Whoops.
That's a Zoom thing.
Continue.
I was like, yeah, when I did that, I was like, oh, that's a long space for me to say hey.
I know. We're just gonna break the fourth wall here, folks. Like, yeah,
Absolutely.
that was a total Zoom error, and you know what? That's funny as hell. Let's just keep it in.
Exactly. I agree.
So yeah, exactly. So, Cheers, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah,
Feels like a hangout. It's nice.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the closest thing we'll come to one right now. So, we got lots of great stuff to talk about today. You know, basically, anything from our history to your new record. So, let's dive into that. But first, let's go to the icebreaker of the day. Which the icebreaker of the day is: how many instruments do you play? So basically, we designed this icebreaker so that Chersea could just absolutely make us look like idiots. So, so here's what we'll do. We'll all go first, and then Chersea, you can use all fingers and toes to count how many instruments you play, and then that'll just basically set the stage for the rest of the podcast. So, Brayson, you go first. How many instruments do you play?
1, 2, 3. I can drum. What is that? Ukulele,
You're
I
at
can
4
do
now.
that too. That's 5.
That's 5.
I thought you said we
Yeah.
weren't going to count ukulele. We talked about this.
Okay, and then
no,
I can't
no.
count ukulele either.
Okay,
Everyone
that's
just
fine.
assume
counts
ukulele
ukulele.
is like a base level. We all
Guitar.
play it. It doesn't count.
Yeah, it's like a...
Yeah.
I mean, if
Junior
Brayson
guitar.
said it, we have to count it now.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so everyone gets one bonus ukulele point on top of any
Fine.
instrument they already list.
4 instruments.
4
Okay.
instruments and 1 bonus ukulele point. All right, Miles, what about you? What instruments and bonus ukulele do you play?
Okay, so drums, of course, because drummer of the band. So drums, then guitar, bass, a little bit of piano, white keys. I'm your guy. Throwing the black keys gets a little tricky for me. Anything in the key of C, I got you. But still
Any
haven't
diatonic C, we're good.
exactly.
Okay, perfect.
There we're good. So kind of piano. So that's 4. And then I guess my extra ukulele point from that. So I would say 4 plus the bonus ukulele point.
Perfect.
So that's 5.
Love it. Yeah.
5.
Okay.
Excellent.
Perfect. All right, Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like those are like pretty standard. Like in our band, I play guitar, bass, I can drum, I play the piano. We've kind of set it up so that we can all just like take over each other's parts at a moment's notice. I have my bonus ukulele, but
Woo!
I took like 2 or 3 years of violin lessons, like 5 or 6 years ago. I wasn't very
Sexy.
good, but I will count it.
You do it. I'm going
You
to
can
count
hit-
clarinet because I don't play much clarinet anymore, but I played it for like 7 years, 8 years.
Like if someone handed you a clarinet, you could probably like not sound terrible.
She
Yeah,
could probably
exactly.
shred.
I can play.
Okay.
That counts. That
Okay,
counts.
well, you'll get your fair chance to just blow everybody away.
I have
Let
a
me
clarinet,
have
it's
my
over
turn
here.
first. Oh my god.
No, you go for it. Osti, can I ask the question? Osti,
Yeah.
how many instruments do you play?
Oh, I love that. Oh man, good yes and. So I have the same ones as everyone else to start. So guitar, bass, drums, keys. I'm hopefully the most proficient keyboard player in the band, considering that's kind of my shtick. I was going to include vocals, but nobody else did, so I won't right now.
Because you don't play
Now
vocals.
you're a vocalist. That counts.
But you don't
Okay.
play the vocal chords. You're not like, oh, I guess if you're
Bitch,
Chris
watch
Cornell,
me.
you can. I guess
No, you know what? It depends on how much training you did because I did a lot of training. So that's,
Yeah,
I would count it. It's an instrument.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, fuck you guys. I'm a vocalist. I have the training. I have the power. I'm the host. It's my call. I'm counting it. Chersea, you have my back. You're a permanent on this podcast. Miles, you're out. No, but actually,
This is why you pay me.
This is so setting the tone for this episode, and I love it. Oh, and Miles is gone,
He's gone.
just like the good Lord intended. All right.
Oh, bye, brother.
No. Okay. So besides my one bonus ukulele point, I do also play a decent amount of banjo, so I'm going to include that.
Yeah.
5 string or 6?
5. It has
Nice.
to be. It has to be 5.
It has to be 5.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Little mini banjo rant here. It like 6-string banjos are just banjotars. They're not banjos. They don't count. They're cop-outs.
No, they
you
don't
want the
count at
real
all.
sound, the real thing. You play the 5-string banjo. That's how you get it. Anything else doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's true.
Sure.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to this podcast. We're done now. But yeah, so I guess overall in total, I'd 6. 6 is my answer.
Wicked.
Okay,
Sure.
cool. All right, Chersea. So,
But Miles gets a point for voice, for sure.
I guess
So
everybody
Miles is at
does.
6 too.
Can I have a point for
And
voice?
Michael for sure. And
But not
Brayson for
Brayson.
sure. No, Brayson gets it too, but he doesn't. Brayson is, I don't know. Brace. I get him to sing and he's like, really?
Yeah. It's true.
oh, wait,
yeah.
I forgot. Wait, hold on. Wait.
Your
Oh
bonus.
no, I have my ukulele point. So actually, I'm at 7.
Okay.
Nice.
Not
thought
that
you
I'm,
were
not
Way to
that I'm
cash
try-
in.
Nice.
I'm not.
Way to
I'm not
cash
trying
in.
to. I'm not trying to like just to try and out instrument everybody, but I'm giving my credit where it's due here.
Well,
yeah.
my tambourine is in Miles's video. I play that. Fuck you.
Okay. All right. Enough of the multi-instrumental dick swinging here. Chersea, it's time for you to fucking throw down. How many instruments do you play?
Okay, well, I'll just start from the beginning,
Oh, no.
going up. So piano. Piano's what I started first. Then I think voice was a close second. Guitar was at 8. I started playing like bass and drums at around 10 and 11. At 11, I started horn and clarinet. I don't know what I'm at.
I got 6.
It's either
Okay.
6 or 7.
And then I play, obviously, I have my voice. That's my
You
probably
already count.
what.
You counted.
Do we
your
count
voice.
that? Okay, so wait. Piano,
Okay.
voice, bass, guitar. I would say auxiliary percussion. I'm definitely like a hand percussionist, not really too much of
Yeah,
a kit percussionist.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, because like with your history as like being like a solo looping artist for so long, like I give it to you. You have superior rhythm.
Yeah. So I have that, and then would do
That was
Horns
7.
and clarinet.
With
Trumpet.
yeah, and then I also play mandolin. Right.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
play a bit of banjo, but I wouldn't say I'm probably as good as Austin. But I play a bit of banjo.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm very good either. So.
And then I get my ukulele point. And then is there anything else I can do? I can't really remember.
That's not something we can unfortunately answer. That question's
I
kind
don't
of on
know.
you.
I'm
And,
pretty
I play vibraphone. I can
Yeah, you
play
did.
xylophone. Yeah,
Okay.
I can actually do. I can do the quad mallets. So
Oh yeah, nope, that qualifies.
I guess
think
that
that
counts.
was like 11 or 12.
Like
I
that was
think.
like 11 and a half.
We're definitely up there.
But I also
especially when you-
added voice and ukulele, so it's like 9.
Well,
12
are we
minus
adding
2.
or deducting ukulele bonus points here? Like, what's going on? We can't just bend the rules as we go.
It's true.
Right.
Yes,
I
we
don't
can.
know.
Welcome to BandChat.
Yeah, truly, we're 10 minutes in. Let's.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we've gotten that
Something like that.
it's that wild ass icebreaker out of the way. Cheers. So just to kind of start things off, we wanted to just kind of go back to the beginning. Well, not the very beginning, because that's billions of years ago. What we're looking for is the beginning of our relationship with you. So how we first met you. We've talked about this briefly on the podcast in the past, and you were
Yeah.
unfortunately not here. But
Okay.
it would be great to sort of get what you remember it as being our first meetup. As yeah, we've given background
Oh,
before.
no.
So oh no.
I don't. Bipolar dude, memories sketch.
Well,
Okay.
we can fill in some
I-
gaps here, right? Too, because
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you I can tell you the story of how
Okay.
I remember meeting you.
That's
Okay.
great. Please do.
Okay, so first of all, I think it was because I had hired Brayson. So Brayson had worked with me, and then you guys wanted to hire me to feature on Mistakes. And that's how I met most of you guys, right? Was through Mistakes.
Mhm.
But then we became friends at a couple parties
Yes.
at Mistakes. And
Yeah.
then more so after that. And then we all started kind of jamming together, except for Michael for the most part. But then we toured together with Michael. And I'm sure Michael would have probably played with me too if he didn't travel to Europe before COVID hit. Most
It's true.
likely, probably. But that's how I remember it. Did I get it? Did I do it?
Yeah,
I
that's
guess so, yeah.
basically it. I think what we had, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong, but we essentially went. It was something about Brayson. You were at Long McQuaid or something, right?
Yeah, Brayson,
Yeah.
you tell this part. You
Yeah,
remember it.
yeah.
You were there. We weren't. Please.
Yeah.
This part involves my shitty ex-boyfriend who doesn't deserve a name mention. So
We
Don't
won't
worry.
mention him. It's
Okay.
fine.
Well,
No
Okay.
name drops.
no shout out to shitty ex-boyfriend. If you're
Essentially-
watching this, if you're watching or listening to this podcast, don't. Anyhow.
and you fucking suck.
Okay, so essentially, Long McQuaid was like a hub that, well, I worked there and Chersea shopped there. So we kind of knew of each other.
Yeah.
And then we were going to go, like, when we were doing Mistakes, and we were like, hey, we want a female vocal. And Ryan was like, oh, do you guys know Chersea? I was like, yeah, I kind of know of her. And then it was the next day that I played that show in Abbotsford at the Tradex Center, and you were doing the photo booth there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I was working for
For the
IDJ at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's how I remember us meeting.
And
Yeah.
it blossomed into this beautiful cornucopia of friendship and playing together.
Yeah. Now, how many years has it been since then? It's been
Oh, I
Three,
think it was
4,
2017.
Because we were
24.
tracking for that in like end
late-
of 2017, beginning of 2018 was when we were tracking for Pretend.
Yeah, it would have been 2018 probably.
it's so crazy because it feels like you guys are my brothers. Like it feels like your family.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's
point.
what happens when you tour together. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know each other very intimately.
100%.
Well, I think it was all of like the trampoline snugs. I think.
Well, I
It's
mean,
true.
like part of the thing with those trampoline snugs is just like we all kind of eventually sunk towards the middle of the trampoline because that's kind of how they work. So
And
it was-
remember our toothbrush orchestra too that we were doing.
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Oh my God.
Okay, we can't just say trampoline snugs and then just completely walk
Just move
past
on.
it. Like,
Oh.
oh yeah, this and the toothbrush orchestra.
honestly, if we ever formed a supergroup, it has to be called Toothbrush Orchestra.
It's a great band.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Or
That'd be so
trampoline,
perfect.
and the first album's called Trampoline Snugs.
Done.
You heard
So-
it here first. Move out of the way, Silk Sonic.
Trampoline Snugs, background story. When we were on tour, we stayed in Woodstock, Ontario. A lot of us slept in a barn, and there was a trampoline in the barn. We slept on that trampoline, therefore, Trampoline Snugs.
Yeah, we all kind of got on there, and because obviously it's a trampoline, it like dips down, so we ended up all just like burrito, like sausage rolling into each other, like into the dip, and we're all just there. And I don't know, someone was making it was I think it was Austin who was just like he was like screaming like a pterodactyl, and then someone was yelling from the top, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing down there?" It was just a really odd situation. That was at we can mention them, but the Holst's farm. Thank you so much
Yeah.
to the Holst's.
We'll
Yeah.
probably get
Shout
there
out.
when we talk more about tour, I think.
I'm sure we'll
Yeah.
do like a
Yeah.
full episode
Yeah.
of each tour in theory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and in this episode we'll probably also talk more about tour.
And also
Yeah, yeah,
setting
yeah.
this up, we're definitely going to have a round 2 with Chersea, just because we're not going to be able to cover everything.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, we're already having too good.
That's
of a
what
time
everyone
to-
says about me.
Oh, my God.
I needed to. It's been a long couple years. Yeah. So what?
I'm speechless.
So we met each other, we jammed,
Uh-huh.
but Chersea, we also need to know. We want to know more about you as a musician and your story. What did that look like? What did your intro to music look like? Can you tell the audience how you got into music? Kind of a quick, like where you came from to where you are today.
Yeah. I can do like a 1-minute elevator pitch of my history really quick. So
That's great.
okay, so when I was about 2 years of age, apparently my mom would feed me because I love food, and I would like sing and hum, and I would dance like this. And so I started singing kind of at 2, which was, as much as you can do it too, I'm sure. Started playing the Tinkertop piano around 3, was registered for my first lesson at 4, started doing group lessons until about age 6, in which I transferred over to private lessons. I started actually writing and composing and doing stuff like that when I was about 6 years of age, like really young. I started making my own stuff and being like, hey mom, look at this, or dad, look at this. And so that actually led to a composition competition, an international one called the JOC. And I think it was 10 or 11, I ended up winning my first composition international competition. And that was for a classical piece, though. But basically, that's when I started writing all the way back then. My dad played some guitar, so I picked up the guitar, and I was one of the lucky ones that were at my elementary school. At 10, they introduced the guitar, so I started learning through that. I went to Minnetonka Middle. That's where I had my first rock band at 11. We were called The Twisted. Now, make sure I'm very clear with this. Knickers, like as in shorts, because I've been misquoted before, and that's fucking awful. So I just really wanted to make sure that was good.
Appreciate that.
Okay. We were 11, as if we were going to associate with that kind of term. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were 11, and we wore underwear over our pants. That's why we were called the Twisted.
Oh, gotcha.
I actually have a picture of that. I'll show you guys at one point. But the picture where we're actually wearing boxers over our pants.
Incredible.
Anyways,
Shout out Mustang Rock, Mr. Erickson.
Yeah,
Mr. Erickson. Yeah,
classic.
he's actually he's family to me as well. He's still family. So thank you to him. And yeah, so I had my first rock band around 11, 12. I was actually playing bass and drums and harmonies in that band. And then after that, I was really involved in band and orchestra, and then concert band, and then performing, and then marching, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Ended up making the youth band and the honor band, and then the regional band. And the regional band, I actually played horn, clarinet, and I did auxiliary percussion as well there. And that's kind of how I started that. Then hockey took over my life for many, many years. And then I got back into pop writing in my late teens. I started writing a lot about hockey and my friends, actually. That's how that started. And then I went through a whole bunch of crazy ass shit where my brain exploded, had to figure out who I was again, where I was coming from, where I was going. There was about 5 years that I don't even remember now of my 20s. Had a big mushroom trip, woke me up, said, you gotta stop dicking around, play music, write music, do a good job. And so that's what happened. I started writing. I actually finished my EP in about a 4-week period, my first EP after that mushroom trip, released it 6 months later, and then I've been on the journey ever since. So
crazy.
Yeah.
And
Holy shit.
That was a novel.
Because I remember like the first time that I ever saw you, and this was before we even like knew each other, but I saw you perform at Catalano Street Festival. I think when you were in the Peak Performance Project.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so where does that fall in that like scale?
So peak is in my life, like, you know how you look at the timeline of human history and we kind of look at it as before Christ or after Christ, right? That in my life, it's before hospital and after hospital. Now there's been a lot of hospital stays intermingled or through it, but there was the main one where I was out for about 2 months or a month and a half. So I have the pre-hospital, and peak was pre-hospital. Peak was actually part of the triggers, I think, ultimately, to me trying or wanting to end my life or go into that downward cycle. But the thing is that it's not a part of me. It's just a part of what's going on.
Would you mind telling the audience what is going on, just so there's a little bit of background there, if you're comfortable with that?
Yeah. No, I just have bipolar type 1. So, mental health is on a spectrum. And I got a whole bunch of associated things with that. Like I've got like pretty bad insomnia, so I have issues sleeping. Bipolar is obviously one of the hardest things to deal with because that's out of my control. I've got borderline personality disorder, and then PTSD, and then some panic disorder as well, sprinkled on top. It's just the perfect little cupcake. So that's kind of what I got going on. But I mean, ultimately, now that I'm the age that I am, and I have the clarity and the medication balance, and I'm sobriety, and everything's going great, it really is just a fluid motion. It's just the ebb and the flow of my condition, and it's so much better now.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
to come out on the other side with such composure and grace, it's just very inspiring. You know, it's just
It
so
is.
awesome to see, and it's just so you're such a good hang. And I think I speak for the rest of the guys when I say that too. Like, you're such a good friend to have, and it's just so nice that to see that you came out of that spot that you were in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually met you guys literally, like, I was in the hospital and I met you guys, I think 6 months later is when I met you.
Okay.
Crazy.
And I think that's why I'm so attached to all of you. Not as a group, I'm talking as individuals, right?
Mhm,
And that's why I care so much. And I feel like you really are my family, is because after that 6-month period of being like, who the fuck am I?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's been 25 years, 26 years of this individual, and I don't know who that is,
Mhm.
right? And just being able to develop friendships like the friendships I have with you guys, and just
Right.
to have that support system, whether you guys knew that it was happening or not. The fact that it was
Surprise!
there, I love you guys very much, and I'm very thankful for this whole thing. And it's cool to come together now and be able to talk about it and
Yeah.
articulate
Definitely.
it.
Totally.
Yeah, you know, and touching on that, it's really great because with the friendship that, you know, we've formed both as an overall group and, you know, as individual relationships. It's it really, I feel like it really all culminated in our 2019 tour, where it really felt like, you know, we could all lean on each other for emotional support. As you know, for some of us, it was stranger times than we'd previously anticipated. So I think that whole tour brought us ultimately closer as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was really great. Yeah.
But so we made it all the way from 2-year-old Chersea all the way to present day Chersea, and so present day
Yeah.
Chersea has an album.
Yes.
Tell us,
There's an album
please.
coming
Tell
out.
us everything that you possibly can at this time. This should, as a fourth wall breaker here, this should be coming out at pretty much about the time when her album drops. So, with that in mind, yeah, tell us about your new record. We are obviously, you know, pretty familiar with it to varying degrees.
I was gonna say, there's that much to share that you guys don't know, except
Well-
for Michael. Oh, poor guy. You gotta
That's
come to
fine.
the studio next time, Mike.
Sounds good.
It's
As long as
just
there's
gonna
no
be-
pandemic or anything.
Yeah, no, obviously.
Yeah.
We'll just tuck you away in the echo chamber. Close the doors.
But yeah, so you know, obviously, like I said, we all have like varying degrees of you know, backstory with the record. But for the people who don't
Who
know
don't,
and
yes,
don't
of
and haven't
course.
listened to you yet, tell us all about it.
Okay, so this record's called Divine Comedy. Divine Comedy is actually an epic poem that is about a man's journey through hell and then through purgatory and then into paradiso, which is at the heavens. But he has to go through a whole bunch of stages to get there.
Mhm.
And basically, I called this album my Divine Comedy because that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I've been through all of these stages of purgatory. I've been all of these stages. I've been through the hell and the diagnostic hell that I had to go through.
Mhm.
And that was great. What Gray Matter was about. Then I went through that big period of I didn't know what the hell happened. And then that was called In Limbo. And that was my second work. And now Divine Comedy just sounds like the perfect third project to kind of talk a little bit more about relationships now and how relationships affect my life rather than how does my inner relationship, how does that introspection really affect me, right? Now it's about people. It's about talking. It's about how do I now cope with everything that I've had.
Right.
And now that I'm in paradise, is paradise really what I thought it was? So that's what Divine Comedy is about.
Gotcha.
Now, yeah, it's also like I think my most fun project yet.
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
super,
It's
it's
fun. I
super
would say so.
boppy. It's I wrote a lot of the songs with Brayson in mind actually, so that I could give him some difficult bass parts
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
And are you happy with that, my friend?
It was great. It was fun. It
Yeah.
was hard, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but so it's really boppy, and like I said, it's a lot about relationships. I actually have a song that it's about Brayson. Actually, I got a song about Brayson called "Uncomfortable." I had a song about It's true. We can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
I got a song called Love Drug, which is literally about every person I've ever tried to fix in my life, whether that be male or female. So it's just about fixing. And then I've got Pitfall, which is it's like now that you're in paradise, you believe that everyone's good, but is that truly what they are? So that's what that's about.
Right.
Then we've got Let's Talk, which is a very targeted song to a specific individual.
Whose name won't be mentioned.
Whose name won't be mentioned.
It's Brayson again.
It's Brayson. Yeah, and then I have Twist My Arm, which is basically a 3-part movement, and that was my intention for the production and the arrangement of that guy. And that one is basically about no matter where you at, you got to be careful of everyone's emotional manipulation. So, so that's kind of the
Basketball Court.
Oh, and Basketball Court. Yeah, that song's about my other friend Drew, and that song's just about friendship and how it's amazing how you can grow so close with someone and fall so deeply in love with that sense of belonging, whether you're intimate with them or not. It's friendship is just such a beautiful thing, and so I wanted to make sure that I had a song on the album that was really indicative of my mental state because I'm still single. Right. I've been alone now for 2 or 3 years and loving it. And I know we've been good. You and me, we've been good, brother.
We have. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it. And I think that's my divine comedy is that I don't think there's any way I can navigate what's going to happen. It just comes. Right. And it's just perpetual until it ends.
I cannot wait to hear the whole thing. I love the topics are so just like well thought out and subjects and how it goes so well together. I've only heard, I think you sent out all those demos, so I've heard those ones, and
I was gonna say, didn't you played on some of the songs, didn't you?
Yeah, but I only heard the demo stages, right? Because especially for Pitfall, I went into the studio and Chersea was like, I don't really have a groove for this one. Go. And I was like, all right. And then listen to it, I was like, oh, this turned out sick. Like this is awesome.
Yeah,
we got rid of all of it except for the chorus.
yeah, I know. But hey,
I re-recorded a whole bunch of hand drums but you were amazing, Miles. Thank you. That was so good.
No problem. The thing is, your type of music. We've been doing that a lot of our record where it's like the verse, real drums, nah.
Yeah,
chorus,
I know.
Yeah. Of course, real drums.
Did you just do the Drake meme?
He did.
I did. For those in the video get to see it, but
that was
wow,
really good. I've never seen someone actually physically reenact the Drake meme. It works. It works. You killed it.
All right, noted. I'll keep that in my
I feel
repertoire.
like Miles doing that without the Drake meme. Miles doing that with the Drake meme.
For those who are only listening, once again, the Drake meme was used. You can place it pretty easily if you just listen. It's been really cool watching your watching the metamorphosis change between like your last record and this record and the differences between the two and just like the growth that you're mentioning that you're really feeling. It really shows in the songwriting, the feeling. It like the tone of the record. It feels like you've arrived.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is though is that once you arrive somewhere, you're already looking for the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me. And you'll see it in my album cover, actually. If you guys want to go check out my album cover, you'll see exactly what I'm about to say and how I'm feeling about this.
Okay.
Is that once you get into the paradise, like, where do you have left to go?
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about, like, string theory or the way the universe might work, like that, it could be perpetual. Maybe there is nothing. Maybe the way that I'm living now, maybe this is content. This is where I'm content. Like maybe this is where I'm happy, but I think there's going to be shitty things that happen all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think that there is heaven on earth.
No, I mean, shit.
And I
no.
think that's my divine comedy. That's what I'm kind of going for.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, shittiness is inevitable. It's just in how you deal with it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's just like on my foot.
what is it? What does your foot say?
Oh, are we getting? We're gonna see feet on this podcast again.
Who wants to see my feet? I actually have people like messaging me on Instagram all the time for feet pics.
Perfect. Well, they can message us now, and we'll just send screenshots of the video.
Okay.
But it does say pain is inevitable, misery is a choice.
Ooh,
Nice.
that's an awesome quote.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had that on my foot since I was 19, and I think that's why I'm living.
Mhm.
I think that's why I've survived.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
from here you've arrived at the divine comedy. I think you're right. It's like it's a perpetual force. You'll have these other things come, and then that's more songs, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure your so-called paradiso maybe didn't involve a global pandemic, but we're rolling with it.
This is what I'm talking about, right? It's like it doesn't matter what the fuck happens.
Yeah.
It's how you react, how you interact, how you respond, and how you develop things to create a good environment for yourself regardless of the circumstance. You know, like it's just one of those things. Now, I don't know if I'm like because I am in my late 20s. I don't know if it's because of that or if it's because of my journey, because I've been through quite a fair bit of shit.
Yes.
I feel, for lack of a better word, a little bit woke, or maybe kind of like I feel awake. I think awake is literally what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm here. I'm present now.
Mhm.
And it's so weird when you've lived 25, 26 years of your life you weren't present.
Mhm.
So now that I'm present, the time has changed. My concepts of pain, physical pain, literal physical pain has changed. My concept of emotional trauma or emotional, I don't know, corruptedness. I feel like that's all changed.
Yeah.
And I think that I just needed a project to fucking put out and just to feel the change and just to share with people that the change is good and the change will come for you if you just allow for it, right?
Totally.
Well, I feel like a lot of people would argue that that's still a very young age to get to that point where you're present and you're completely aware of everything, right? Because some people go through life and they never get there, right? Like, head is always clouded.
But this is what I mean, is like right now is my concept of what's happening. Am I going to look back in 20 years and be like, what a noob? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I mean about this paradiso, though. Like, is this now your forever? Is this your impossible staircase? Right?
like
Now
that's the
that I'm
goal.
here. Yeah.
Right? Like the goal is always to be able to look back and say, I would have done this differently, or I'm different now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like if 5 years from now you're in the same place, like maybe that's okay. But I feel like the goal is kind of to be like, I like the idea of the spiral staircase because it's like you're still in the same place, but you're like you've gotten higher up, you know?
Yeah.
But you're still like
Yeah.
you haven't moved side to side. You've just sort of you've come upwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
grow. You gotta grow.
Yeah.
Life is about
Yeah.
growth. If you're not growing,
Truly.
are you living? Are you?
It's true.
I agree
it's
with
true.
that
But it
100%.
takes a certain hindsight or foresight to be able to determine that, right? Like, and when you're living in a world that isn't really defined by your own consciousness, rather a chemistry that rules, the Rusev said, an understanding of what's happening, to be at where I'm at now, it's fucking mind blowing. Like, I wish I could put anyone here just to feel it, and like just to feel every day the relief I feel when I wake up. It's just like, I get to live and I get to feel okay about it. And I don't have to use alcohol. I don't have to use drugs. I don't have to do anything. I can just live. I can breathe.
Yeah.
Which is, getting deep for a second, but
Hey, no, that's
Oh,
No,
that's good.
I was just gonna say, as cliche as that sounds, like that's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like as cliche as my statement sounds, you don't sound cliche at all. Let me make that clear. But no, like it's really it really is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful statement to be able to, and it's a beautiful thing that you were able to overcome all these things and reach the point in your life that you truly wanted to reach. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And it goes up
and
from here,
it's-
baby.
Exactly. As Shania Twain once said, we only go up from here. So, whether this is your paradiso or, it's the journey continues upwards. It's great. And it's great that you're here and, we're all happy to be along for the ride. So,
Mhm.
oh my God. And you guys, okay, for all the listeners and all the viewers, I don't know how many of you there are, even if there's two, hi. But
Damn, called out.
but it's just
Yeah,
being
it
frank, just being real. But these guys have seen a little bit, and there's not a lot of people who have. I keep to myself, and normally I struggle alone, but there were a couple times on tour. Like I remember, Mike, you really helped me at the Fog Lounge that one night, and that was. It was just exhaustion and a whole bunch of other things. I just had a panic attack and a bit of a meltdown. But I remember you helped me, and that was, I don't ever forget that. I will never forget that because tour is such a vulnerable state, and I never get that vulnerable in front of most people.
Mhm.
Like even at one of Miles's parties, I had a panic attack in the kitchen and I just passed out on the couch. I was quiet. I walked over there and I just fell asleep. That's what I do. But to be vulnerable and to have you guys as my family like that has been really amazing and really helpful. And then to help me with the recovery post breakup too, and the hard part with the breakup was that I had come out of hospital. I was right away with someone and then they became my identity.
Yeah.
Right. And so after that had happened, I felt like I was back at square one, but I had all of you there with me. And so to be able to share that and to be able to have that with you guys it has been really special. And I'm sorry at certain points too, because it is heavy. Oh my God. Emotional bus 5.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that? Emotionally action packed.
Yes.
Bus 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Chersea,
that's a deep cut.
we are always happy to be here for you. We're always here for you. I'm just up the hill.
Yeah.
Mike's across the hill. Bong's across the town, and Austin's the other way. But we're all very
I'm
close
across
to
the
you.
bridge. Good
The other
luck.
way.
Swim.
Hey, even if not geographically, we are here for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know, and
And-
it's really special.
It's fine. I love what you said about tour being vulnerable. And like, it made me think that like if you were to just sort of put that all down on paper, being on tour is like torture in a lot of ways. Like it's like you're sleep deprived, you're not eating well, like
Yeah.
you just have a bunch of people watching you all the time, every night, like watching you screw up. That's like that's just like psychological torture. It's the best, but
I know, and I feel as a woman too, like there's an element of almost selling yourself to a certain point. Like you always got to interact, you always got to perform, you always got to like reach out, you always got to do stuff like this. Whereas I feel like just going through those things. And do you guys remember it was at Calgary and that chick grabbed my tits like
Oh yeah.
while I was performing?
Yeah.
And
That was
remember
a-
how angry I got, B?
Absolutely.
I was like fucking livid.
Mhm.
She came up to me and went,
Yeah.
who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a woman, we also have, and not to say that you guys don't have your stuff. Of course, men have their stuff too. But as a woman, that was really fucking hard too. Is just always having to be that entity,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
on
Well, I
tour.
mean, at the end of the day, like we all have our lived experiences, sure, but like anything that we may experience as men in our day-to-day lives, like it's there's nothing that can really equivalence in the same way as the things that women deal with on a daily basis. We can only imagine because it's not something we typically experience. So yeah, no, it's yeah, it's all absolutely valid, and yeah, shit like that's disgusting. So it doesn't matter who it's from. So
Yeah.
The worst part
No.
about that is that was a pride show too. Like that should have been the most like accepting environment that there was. And
I
it
think that
yeah.
was honestly like there were a lot of uncomfortable, very forward people at that show.
It was a weird
Yeah.
show, and
There was
weird
this
show.
one guy that was like
Oh my
during-
God, Brayson. Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, that guy who lived in the building across the street from the venue, right?
Yeah, when we were loading out. That was
That
very
guy.
uncomfortable. Yes.
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, and
Do you wanna
I was
tell
us
the
more,
one who was
Brayson?
distracting. I was on distracting duty, and then I just ended up chatting with him while you guys loaded out.
Yeah, you were on distraction.
Bless.
Well, I had to run downstairs and get the door guy too. Well, okay, the backstory here because no one knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But there was this guy who came up and he started talking to me and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we just played a show, this and that." And then he comes up and he tries to give me a hug and I was like, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "No. What are you saying?" He comes over and tries to touch me again. I was like, "Don't touch me. I don't know you. I don't need to hug you." I was also sweaty. I would just finish a fucking show. We drove for however many fucking hours. Like, back off.
Yep.
And anyways, Brayson, you were there. I think you stepped in at a certain point, started talking to him. Miles had to come in. I went and got the bouncer.
Yeah.
Was that Tim? Bouncer Tim? I think his name
Bouncer
was
Tim.
Their name was Tim.
I feel like you're
I have-
so good with names.
Yeah,
I'd be
was
like,
just
sure.
about to say, I have no idea how you know these names.
Honestly,
You know
Bouncer
what?
Tim.
You
They
know
were
what?
amazing.
Fuck it, whatever. Shout out to Bouncer Tim.
Yeah, for real. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
at
Tim.
the what was that venue even called again?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Starts with a D.
Dickens.
Yeah,
Dickens.
that's it.
Dickens,
Dickens.
That
Great.
was the same night as the boob grab. That was
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
full kit
Yeah.
and caboodle.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah,
great stage, great
Yeah,
great
no
stage.
fault to the venue. It's
people.
just
Yeah,
like-
it was
No.
just a
that
weird.
night.
It was just a weird night. Yeah. There's definitely no faulting Dickens there.
What other weird nights did we have? Segueing from there, I'm just trying to think of more
I don't
tourist
think there was
stories.
anything
Too
like-
many.
I don't think there was anything like unsettling like that.
Yeah,
everything
Thankfully.
else was,
that was pretty unsettling. That guy was
everything
so
else that
weird.
was weird was like good weird.
That's true. Like sleeping in the barn, the trampoline snugs. Those were great.
Yeah.
Trampoline snugs
Yeah.
were
Trampoline
great.
snugs.
What?
And I'm
That
trying to
was
think what
so
else.
Woodstock was amazing.
Yeah.
That was a fun time. So was Winnipeg.
Yes,
Yeah.
Austin's
Winnipeg was
fam.
also fun.
Always
Yeah.
the best
Austin's
time.
fam.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
Shout out to all my Ledyard clan in Winnipeg, Manitoba. They're always there for a party and to put our sorry asses up. So thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
They always make sure there's full cooler of beer when we get there. It's very nice.
Yeah, I feel
And
bad though.
food
That
and
was all that-
shelter. The food. Don't forget the food and
Oh,
shelter.
of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Don't forget the
Only the
housing.
beer.
Yeah.
You know, the regular common courtesies.
No, I mean we're just grateful for that. I'm just grateful that there's such great people as well. Like they're so nice to
Yeah,
us. They're so
amazing
nice
people.
to talk to. Just so Austin, you got a great fam. What can I say?
You know what, kids? We all got great fams here.
That's true.
That is
We
true.
all have great fams. Poco, Northside.
Represent.
Represent.
Represent. That's all of us, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
We're all
We all
Northside
grew
Poco
up.
kids.
All
All
Northside.
no
Yeah.
poke. I
Oh
was
yeah,
gonna say
for
no,
No
poke.
poco.
no Poco.
None of that so poco shit around here.
Yeah, yeah. You know
Mike,
what?
did you move from? Did you move?
By the time this podcast airs, yes, I'll no
You
longer
will
be in
move.
Poco. Yeah, I'll be in Vancouver. Yeah,
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
but no Poco, born and raised.
Yeah. Like that, I think that's one thing that maybe people don't realize. That's actually really funny about all of us being friends is that Chers literally lived a 2-minute walk from my old house. I don't live there anymore, but the house I lived in, I grew up in for 22 years. She lived a 2-minute walk away from my old house, and I never actually met her until
Yeah.
after I'd moved out of that house.
Yeah,
Go
it's insane.
fucking figure.
That's so weird.
Same with Brayson.
Yeah.
Well,
Grayson?
I'm a 2-minute walk away from Austin's
Yeah.
old house. So
Yeah.
4 minutes from Chersea.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we all like, say for example, we were like, "Hey, meet me at the GNA in
Oh,
5."
we could all.
All of us would make it, providing
yeah.
Austin was at Brayson's house.
Yeah, like even
No,
nowadays.
even like
Like Miles would have to drive,
no,
but
at my
Oh, well,
old,
I'm
no
not-
at my old house, we could literally all have been there because I lived right by the
He was
elementary
2
school.
minutes
From Brayson's
past
house.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he.
Oh yeah.
Miles lived like down the street from Evergreen Park. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We're getting super fucking
We're getting
Pokemon
doxed.
meta here.
We are. We gotta move on. We gotta
Shout out to GNA
shout out
though.
to GNA.
Oh, yeah.
George, love you. Okay,
George
back
has
to,
a-
back to
yes.
tour. Back to tour. Back to tour.
We
For
actually
real,
You can edit this out.
shouts
Edit
to
and
George
post.
though. Shouts to George. Like, no, actually though, George is the best.
I do want to get back to the tour topic because
No, for sure.
we
'Cause it's
do
super
have
fun.
we have a surprise for you.
Oh, we do have a surprise for
We
you.
do have a
Chersea.
surprise.
We do.
We do.
Miles,
For
do you-
me?
Yeah,
For
For
you.
you, Chersea.
A surprise for me.
Yes.
Yes, a surprise for you. So, I actually am the one who possesses the surprise. So we're gonna show you
Okay.
it. So if you might notice behind me, Chers, if you take a gander, you see these posters here. You see
Yes.
those? So essentially, what happens every time we finish a tour? Mike's dad gets these big tour posters printed. So I have one for us as well. But what he also does is he prints out little ones. So we have your very own. It's like a, what's it made out of, Mike? It's your own.
I have no idea. Like
There's a hair tie.
particle board.
But you have your own tour that you can frame, hang up on your wall. It's about like this thick. And this is for you.
It's about that big.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm not in the middle of the video.
She's
There we go.
Okay, for
You
anyone
good,
on
you good.
audio, Church just kind of collapsed into
Yeah.
a ball off camera. Hun, are you okay?
That's so nice,
Oh,
you guys.
Chers.
Oh.
Thank you.
No problem.
It's our pleasure, and I think that future podcast guests should not expect anything like this. This is like more. This is like
But yeah, so
kind of a one-off.
So I can drop this off at your place.
Thank you. You guys are just special to me.
Oh, no problem.
you.
We're so happy. I mean, you can thank Mike and his father because
Thank
it's
you,
true.
Mikey.
Shout out Rib.
yeah. So yeah, so you'll be able to have this on your wall. And then I have the
That's
so I have the
nice.
big one over here, and I'm gonna hang it up. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it, but somewhere on the wall. It'll be
Hopefully,
up.
at least in the middle for now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Michael.
I mean, no troubles.
Yeah, hopefully
you.
we
I'm
didn't
glad
ruin
you liked
your
it.
makeup.
I mean, I'm just
I never do my makeup that well anyways. It wasn't probably good to begin with.
honestly I could
Trick.
No, I'm just moved. It's been a hard year.
got
Yeah.
you.
And I'm
yeah,
just
totally.
tired.
It has been a hard year, and it's been a
got-
hard year without music, and so
Yeah.
it's
Such
Such
nice
a hard
to
year
like.
without music. Such a hard year without my friends. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Such
It's
a
nice
hard
to
year.
relive these moments
It is.
for sure.
Especially just getting
I
together
know.
on a Zoom call, which is the norm these days, and just being able to shoot the shit, talk about how we met, some tour anecdotes, little stories.
Yeah.
It's just so nice.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you like it so much, Chersea. Like we could have not asked for a better
Oh, it
reaction.
means a lot to me. My love
Truly.
language is like gift giving and receiving. So I'm just such a sap bucket. So thank you. No, it means a lot. It's just the sentiment
Mhm.
Of course.
because that was such a special time in my life, and I really credit that time and you guys in my life just for where I'm at now,
Mhm.
and just for even the music that I've made.
Mhm.
Like I literally without you, I wouldn't have made this album. Without you guys in my life, this album wouldn't have happened.
Wow.
Straight up, because I needed you and your relationships to show me that life was worth so much more
Oh,
than what I had in my life at the time. So it's good.
you're
You know.
hitting all the feels,
It's
Chers.
good.
This is the
Wholesome.
best episode.
You don't-
Yeah, thanks for crying. Now we have a great thumbnail for the episode. We get that clickbait going. You know?
Yeah, this is gonna market like hotcakes.
No, but
Okay, you guys, I worked so hard on glowing up. Don't take it away from me.
Nah, you look great.
no, Chers, you look great, and like this has just been.
You
Go ahead.
glow no matter what.
Oh, thank you, friends. Thank you. Yeah. It's been a long journey.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about tour. Tour was so fun. That was the
Yeah,
best time ever.
I feel like it's important to talk about like how we ended up touring together, and I'm sure that we'll do like a full deep dive into this tour in a later episode. But like, let's talk about how we even ended up touring together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So I was just like, I want to go on tour. And Brayson was like, yeah, we're going on tour. And I was like, dope. You want to go on tour together? And he was like, yep.
That's so fun.
And then
That's exactly how Brayson explained it to us when we talk about it.
that's exactly how it went.
But see, the funny thing is, for people who've listened in past episodes, when Braceland's explained stories, it's always been like he's always plainly been like, so I talked to this person, and I was like, hey, do you want to blood? And they'd be like, yeah, and then we do it. Like that's how Braceland generally tells stories. But I think this is very validating for him that this is legitimately how it went.
True.
that's just the way that my life is. That's just how my life plays out. I'm not like downplaying the story. It's just how it.
It's minimalist. Honestly, it's a great way to live. Keeping things concise. Like,
Yeah, it's like the when we had to get the new tranny. That's
do you have a tranny for Ford Windstar? When can you do it today? Okay,
yeah. It's just how it,
$2,600.
It's very efficient. It's
Exactly.
super effective,
to the
super
point.
efficient.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's how we went on tour, or that's how we
I mean,
started tour together.
I feel like a lot of it was around like time off too, where it was like Brazen was playing for Chersea at that time, and she wanted a tour, but we also wanted a tour.
yeah.
And so we were just kind of like two birds stoned at once. Like, let's.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. And it was like, it even got easier because what had happened is Chart was supposed to play with me. And then that kind of
Chartwell's your
fell
old
through.
drummer, just for those of you who don't know.
Chartwell is one of the most beautiful souls on this planet.
Truly.
And yeah, he's amazing. Such an amazing person. And he was supposed to drum with me. His foot kind of exploded. Like he's got like lower body part issues that are kind of like my brain issues, but
Well, it wasn't
know?
even that. He was unloading his car. It was a week before we left for the tour, and he's
Yeah.
unloading his car.
week and a half. Yeah.
And he drops his cymbal bag like edge side down on his foot.
On his foot. Yeah. And his foot was already fucked. Like it was
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
for those of you guys who don't know, he was in a huge accident and basically his lower half hips down was just destroyed. So he's kind of he's still in recovery from that. It's been almost like 9 years now.
Yeah,
7
like
years.
that.
Yeah.
But I remember him being like, "Yeah, I mean, like I can still do the tour." We're like, "No."
Well, Grayson, that's how Chart and I met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were on the same tour, but just on different tours. But we were on the exact same leg at the same nights. And so we bopped around Canada all the way back, and then we passed the accident. And it was just, that's how I met Chartwell, and Chartwell and I
Really?
became very close. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, Chartwell couldn't come because his foot was mangled. And then basically I was just like, well, who else do I have? And then Brayson's like, Miles can do it. He's got it. Miles has got this. And I was like, okay. Called Miles. I need your help. And then Miles learned the set in what? 3 days?
Something like
Yeah.
that. Something like that.
3 days? 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, had to do
And
it.
then by the end of tour, we had choreographed dance moves.
Yeah.
Miles was like band leading, standing up from stage. It was wild. And then it worked out so well because we were able to share expenses so much more.
Mhm.
And we were able to share the equity so much more.
Yeah.
So
And it was a lot of fun. Like it was such an
Yeah.
interesting dynamic where it was like we called it the shared rhythm section. Remember? It was like
Which it was.
Like,
It definitely was.
so me and Brayson essentially played 2 sets each night. And honestly, it was great.
It was great.
I never got tired. Like there was never a lack
Yeah.
of energy by the second set because we would always like flip depending on who wanted to go first or whatever. And it was so fun. I was,
Yeah.
I'm obviously what happened to Chartwell was terrible, but it was a fun experience though to hop in and step up to the plate and play some more drums.
well, it was amazing, and it all worked out the way it needed to. Because now you're basically my full-time drummer, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't really call on anyone else, and of course, if you've got conflicts, that's the way it is. I mean, we're all musicians, but it's nice. It formed, not just short-term relationships, but long-term,
True.
long-term
Yes.
relationships, and not just friendships, but working relationships, which has been actually the most beneficial.
Mhm.
Because, and that probably segues really well into the album and how three of the 4 of you were in there for a lot of my production and recording,
Mhm.
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
So great. And look at where we are now. Like it's just this whole circle where we've started and talking about bracing at Long and McQuaid, then you being on Mistakes, being on tour.
Oh, I also knew Brayson because I worked at Tom Lee.
Oh,
And I would call over to Brandon and Brayson all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually knew you guys on the phone. I think I knew Brayson on the phone before I knew him in person, too.
Phone pals.
Yeah, because I,
Cute.
Why are you shaking your
would have to send a lot of customers over to L&M.
I know. When I said that, I was like, that's not a thing. That's really not a thing. I just saw Mike go like this.
Pals.
Mike just went like this.
What did you say?
I didn't remember doing that.
No, I was like, because
She was like,
you said, Chersea was like, oh yeah, I knew you on the phone before I knew you in person. And then I was just like, oh, you were phone pals. And then I just see Mike go.
No.
Mike is shaking his head. See, normally,
he said it so confidently. You were like, it's just like a term you use all the time. A couple of phone pals.
Normally those subconscious like head shakes are usually reserved for something I say, but I'm glad to see the buck passed on. It's good to see a new generation come up underneath me. Congrats, Miles.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, phone pals,
We're
it's
here.
now a thing. Phone pals. We're coining it.
Anyway,
Anywho.
back to this
Back to-
actual podcast.
The actual, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
the rabbit holes are endless. We always go
It's,
down.
it's true.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think that's the point of podcasting, honestly.
It's true.
Yeah.
Just how many rabbit holes can you go down?
It's true.
Yeah.
We've gone down a few.
So many
Mhm.
rabbits, so little time. But you know what? I think our time here is pretty well up.
I think now's a good place to wrap up. I think we've talked about a wide variety of topics.
Variety of things.
Gotten nice
I
and
think
deep, which I like.
we can get into. I mean, like, there's so much to say about the tour. We can do another
Yeah.
episode on that.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. But for now, I feel like for 5 squares in a Zoom chat, we've come full circle. So I think it's time to wrap this sucker up. So,
Yeah.
Chersea,
Yes, my friend.
my darling, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for having
We
me.
love you.
Love you all
We
so
love
much.
you too so much.
And
we love
if
you.
if all 2 of our listeners want to find you after this call, where should they go?
Okay, it's like 10 to the exponent 2,
So
There you go.
100.
Now we're
so
talking.
100.
That's like 100 people.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
I took that as like your Instagram username or something. I'm like, you changed it? That's weird.
what I
10 to the exponent 2. Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't have the same ring to it, dude.
No, I know. It wasn't that great. No, so if you want to follow me, that would be swell. Instagram is at Chersea Music. Twitter is at Chersea Music C. It's just sandwiched by some C's, okay?
Okay.
Then there is YouTube, also Chersea Music, and Spotify, Chersea, and everywhere else, Chersea. There's only 2 of me in this world, so you should be able to find me.
Just find the right one. Blue hair.
But
Good luck. Good
overall,
luck.
overall, you're number 1 in our hearts.
Yes.
Aww.
That's the end of the episode.
Uh,
Segues
Can
are
we,
hard.
can we make a theme song together?
Sure. This might be
Okay.
extremely difficult considering
It's going to
the
be
Zoom
really
live.
bad, but let's just try it.
We'll
Ready?
give it a go. Okay.
Should I start? Actually, you guys make the music and I'll do the singing, okay?
Oh God. Okay.
We're gonna do this over Zoom.
Yeah, you're just going to do it with your mouths. Go for
Apologies
it.
in
Ready?
advance to everyone listening, but damn, we're gonna try.
Someone get a key going.
Okay. Boom da ga, the boom da ga, the boom da ga. That's only what we're doing here. The boom da ga, the boom da ga, the boom da ga, the boom da ga. This was a nice podcast. I had a lot of friends, lots of fun. We're gonna do it one more time again. It's gonna be a tour episode, but this is just our last time.
It's
Just not the only time. We're gonna be right back. Gonna see you and your butt crack.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I couldn't rhyme with back. I just went to crack.
Here's the thing:
That's
none of
great.
us would do any better. So,
believe
you know what? What a great way to just we cracked open the nut of this podcast. I tried to make a butt crack throwback there that didn't go well. Thanks guys for watching. I'm gonna wrap this up for my own embarrassment and sanity. So, if you guys want to follow Chersea besides what she mentioned, basically all her socials will be in the show notes. If you want to see and hear more from us, you can follow all our social media in the show notes as well. And thanks once again, Chers, for joining us.
Yeah.
And thanks for chatting with us, guys. This has been another
so
lovely
much.
episode of BandChat with Royal Oak. All right, you guys take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Go listen to
Bye.
Chersea's album.
Bye. Yeah, go buy Chersey's album, Divine Comedy. We can dance to the sound of the come on.
That was phenomenal.